wasn't really going to film a video because I just like didn't really feel like it, but here I am. It's not really going to be a drama video at all. I might mention some stuff, but yeah, it's going to be more chill. I was originally going to talk about the Jeffree Star situation, but then everyone started talking about it and it was like a whole thing, and I just didn't want to really jump on that bandwagon because I feel like if you watched other videos it would be so much better than what I can make. I might briefly go over it in my next video because I did make quite a few notes on it, but a YouTuber called It's Keisha uploaded this unpopular opinions video, and I'm basically going to steal all those unpopular opinions and give my take on them because just a fun little video. We're trying to vibe, you know? Do I fuck with this lighting? Not really. Am I going to try and change it or edit it in any way? No. The first one is we aren't really looking for boyfriends, we're looking for 19-year-old Harry Styles, and I feel like it goes both ways. Like, we all have too high of expectations because not only do we have Harry Styles, but we also now have Madison Beer, so it's messy. She's messy. I do think that a lot of people have standards that are way too high, and a lot of those people are generally like assholes, so it's not like they're ever going to get anyone near that kind of standard ever. But in my head it's like, who am I to say what kind of standards they should have? Like, if they want to have unrealistic expectations and they want to date Madison Beer and nobody else but Madison Beer, let them fantasize about dating Madison Beer. Like, who am I to judge? I mean, I can judge, I'm just not going to say anything about it. The second one is that Android is better than Apple. I feel like Apple's whole thing is luxury and I guess easy to use. Apple has downgraded. I feel like their peak was around like the iPhone 6 kind of era, but now their new updates and like changes in the way that iOS works, trash. That weird thing where you have to swipe down and there's like a little, no, why did you do that? Who let you think that that was okay? I think the whole thing with Android is it's trying to attract people who actually kind of care about the technology that they use, or people who are on a very strict budget or stuff like that. Apple is mostly luxurious and easy to use kind of things. I am trying to stay away from Apple, but I do really like the luxury and the previously existing easy to use aspect of their products. But I'm also not trying to become broke because I break things really easily. I'm really careless with the things that I own in general, not especially, but when it comes to things like devices and laptops and phones and all that, it's very expensive, so I can't really be affording to break one of my phones every 1 to 2 years, you know what I mean? She said that accepting apologies on like behalf of minorities or on behalf of black people is just trash. Why would you do that? I feel like, yeah, that is a pretty big thing. Obviously, like, call out racism and stuff like that when you see it, even if you're not part of that minority group, but I feel like a lot of people who aren't in the minority groups are being offended on behalf of them as well. I saw this post which is like promoting veganism, and the whole thing was like meat eaters will complain about like vegan food or like tofu being gross and then eat this, and it was like a picture of like hot pot. If you don't know what hot pot is, I mean, I guess you could search it up because it's going to be better than whatever the fuck explanation I give, but it's like an Asian, I'm pretty sure it's like Chinese specifically, but I'm not quite sure. It is an Asian thing, and it's just a pot, and usually it's like halved, one side is spicy and one side is not, and you just kind of boil everything. I don't really know, but it's a thing, and it's pretty Asian-y, pretty cultural, I guess. And then people were giving her shit because they're like, that is a like traditional cultural Chinese dish. How dare you say that? And it's like, I get where you're coming from, but like, who actually gives a fuck? Like, yeah, it doesn't look pretty. That was her entire point. Like, people would be like, ew, vegan food looks gross, and then she'd be like, hot pot looks gross and has meat in it, so what is your point? She wasn't shitting on our culture, you get what I mean? Like, I feel like people are a bit too sometimes. But yeah, I do hate it when white people are like, oh, that's not racist, or they say, you know the quote, literally nobody has ever said that, or stuff like that. Like, a lot of the times it can be applied because a lot of the time people are just looking to be oppressed more than they really are. When they say like racially based stuff, but it's like stuff that they don't give people shit for, like, yeah, you can call them out, but it's always like things with the whole like coronavirus thing, and then Asians are now speaking up about how they got treated, especially growing up, and being ashamed of their culture, because that's like a really big thing about Asians and like growing up in like basic Western cultures, is that they will typically grow to be quite ashamed of the culture because it's not really accepted. And then I see a lot of people talking about it on TikTok, and then all the comments are from like straight white guys. They're like, literally nobody has ever said that. And it's like, who are you to tell me what I have and have not experienced as an Asian? Like, yes, people do say these things, nobody's ever said that. And it's like, nobody's ever said it to you because you are white, but people do say that. I've kind of started away from the topic. Accepting apologies on behalf of minorities, yes, don't do that, trash. Next one, everyone needs to go apologize to Johnny Depp. I didn't really know what happened to Johnny Depp. I never really was involved with the whole situation. How I found out about it is because, like, you know those kind of posts, and then it'll be like Donald Trump and all these people with sexual allegations against them, and then Johnny Depp was in there, and I was confused, and obviously people in the comments would be like, he like bit up his wife. And I'm like, ooh, Chris Brown who? The difference was that there was never actually any proof, but I feel like, yeah, people kind of jumped on the bandwagon of hating him even though he didn't actually do anything. I feel it's kind of like the James Charles situation where Tati was like, he's a sexual predator, and then he came out and he's like, no, I'm not. Except with Johnny Depp, nobody really went back to that. You know, James regained all his 3 million subscribers. Johnny Depp didn't really regain anything. She said that stan culture is being normalized and it's not good because a stan is literally a stalker fan, and it's weird how people are kind of normalizing that culture of being creepy. I feel like the word stan has kind of been normalized to the point where being a stan is just being a really big fan of somebody, but like actual people who do stalk and are creepy in regards to their faves and people that they really like and idolize, I don't think they've ever really been normalized, to be honest. Maybe they have been, maybe I just haven't been a part of that. But the next one is that Billie Eilish is the only person that could pull off like green roots, and that if anyone else would have done that, they would have been bullied. I don't think I'm in any place to say this because like who the fuck am I to like tell people what their hair should be, but like I don't think she looks that good with it. I feel like everyone's gonna judge people for their physical appearance in some way or another to one extent or another, but I feel like some people just get too involved. If you don't like the way that somebody looks, just complain about it in your head and shut up, because like who are you? Next one is that numbers do matter on social media and YouTube and stuff like that, and I feel like this is just yes, like it should be. It's people who say shit like I don't care about the amount of views or subscribers or the money I get. Like okay, you might like that might not be your primary objective, like your main thing might be to please your fans and stuff like that, and you love your fans and all that, but like they do matter. That's how you're making a living, and even if you're not making a living, it's just good to have that kind of validation. The next one is Kylie Jenner looked good before surgery. I feel like all the Kardashians looked really pretty before they got plastic surgery, but again, who am I to tell them what to do and what not to do with their bodies? I'm just not a big fan of the Kardashians. I know some of them have done really good stuff, but I feel like in general they annoy me. I feel like they're very up their own asses. I feel like they don't really do anything for anyone else. They don't really care about anyone else. Next one is that the word retarded is not that bad. I just feel like it's a bit irritating when people compare the R word to words like the F slur, N word, or the word chink and stuff like that, because I don't think the R word was ever made to target mentally disabled people. I think it was just a thing to call your friends instead of stupid, because eventually the word stupid gets old. I do understand why people would be upset about the word if they were mentally disabled. I personally feel like that the R word being so stigmatized was purely because of mentally and physically able people being offended on behalf of mentally disabled people. I might be wrong, but that's just how I saw it. All the mentally disabled people that I know in my life don't actually care, and they do sometimes use that word, but maybe that's just the community that I'm in. Maybe it is like a serious thing in other communities and other friend groups. Keisha said that animations just aren't that good, like Disney movies and stuff. I feel like there is a certain aspect of movies and shows that are limited due to animations, because you can only get so real with animations, like emotional wise, I guess. I don't really sure, but you're wrong. Animations are so good. Disney movies are great, and Rick and Morty is animated. So she said that Love is Blind isn't a good show, which is a reality TV show, and I just want to say I hate reality TV shows. I feel like the concept of them, or the idea of them, was good. Like film everyday life so that people can relate and that they could see real tears and real emotions and real reactions from people rather than acted and scripted ones. But the people who execute them and the people that are in them, trash. I feel like reality TV show can be really entertaining, but I just hate them, so I won't watch them. I feel like if I did push myself to watch it, I could be invested in some of them, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to do that to myself. Yeah, in conclusion, all reality TV show is pretty trash. She said that those under the age of 16 shouldn't be really making YouTube videos because of bullying and stuff like that. I feel like 13 is a bit young. I started YouTube when I was like really young, and my videos are trash. I've had multiple YouTube channels in the past. They were all trash. The start of this one is trash, but the thing is, it's because I've like gotten older and I've looked back and like my experience and stuff. If I'm still doing YouTube 5 years from now and I look back onto the videos that I'm doing now, I'm still probably going to find them really cringy. So that's like the personal aspect of it. The bullying part, I feel like you really won't know your limits until you do it. Also, being exposed to really dumb YouTube comments could be what like strengthens you. I just feel like censoring children from experiences doesn't really help them in any way at all. I feel like what we need to do, and like not just about trivial stuff like this, but like pretty much everything, is instead of trying to censor children from everything, we should be educating them about pretty much everything. So yeah, I think I disagree. The next one is that we're all a little bit toxic or problematic in our own way. I don't know why this is an unpopular opinion. I feel like some of these are just facts. Like we all have our flaws, that's just part of it. Some of us are generally not the I'm like not the nicest person, but that doesn't mean I can't bring awareness or talk about things or times where other people fucked up. Like just because somebody brings light to the whole Jeffree Star Debbie Vanity situation doesn't mean they have to be a perfect person. Like they could be be a relatively mean and trashy person in their life, but that doesn't make them bringing light to other situations any less valid. Everyone is toxic in their own way. Everyone's got something wrong with them, and that's fine as long as it's like not incredibly bad. The next two are about Justin Bieber. Firstly, that his long hair was a vibe and that he looked good in it, and secondly, that his vocals are underrated. But his vocals, are they really though? Because I listened to, I think it was the song Sorry from 2000. I mean, obviously he could have like really upgraded by then. After listening to Sorry, he doesn't know how to sing on time. I'm sorry, but like at the start of it, it's such a strong beat. I don't know how music is made, but surely he would have been able to hear the background music as he was singing, right? Because there were such strong beats in the background as well, so it's not like the people listening to it could have ignored it. Like, we heard the shit in the background going at a tempo that he was not singing at. Okay, this was quite relevant to the Jeffree Star situation. She said that Tati is just as wrong as James in the whole Dramageddon situation. Again, I started to lose interest in the whole thing at the end of it. So all that I know is that the whole predatory thing was she basically took a joke out of context with the whole waiter situation, even though the waiter, I'm pretty sure, was actually genuinely uncomfortable by it. And a few people like PewDiePie said that like the situation didn't matter, but like at the time it really did, because people thought that James was a predator and was like preying on straight men, so that was like a serious thing. But obviously coming out of it, he did obviously have, I feel like this is a thing for a lot of gay people though, like they will end up having crushes on straight people, just like how straight people end up having crushes on gay people. You know, the whole thing with girls saying like all the hot guys in my school are gay, and I feel like that's kind of the same thing now, like in hindsight, since it wasn't as serious as we thought it was. But Jeffree doing the whole thing that he did, blaming everything on Tati and just trying to clear his name while literally saying nothing to clear his name. Again, if you watch any video of it, or if you listen to the podcast, you would know that he didn't actually say anything to genuinely get himself out of the situation. He just blamed everything on everyone else, and FaZe Banks was there licking his ass. I feel like Jeffree was in the wrong more than both of them. I might be biased because of everything that's coming out about him. From how I see it with the information that I have, James wasn't actually preying on anyone. He made a couple jokes. Tati took those jokes out of context. James shouldn't have done the whole sugar bear hair thing. Tati overreacted to the whole sugar bear hair thing. And then it was like a whole thing between them, but then Jeffree had to jump in. Literally no proof. He just wanted to be involved. And was like, James Charles is a danger to society and he needs to be locked away. Also, Grayson Dolan or Ethan Dolan, I don't fucking, one of the Dolan twins is gonna come out and talk about you, and then it never happened because I feel like that's a common theme with Jeffree Star though, that he just jumps into drama just to be involved, just to maybe get his name out, and then if the person that he tried to cancel continues to thrive, he'll try to be friends with him again, like he did with James Charles. Well, he's gone back and forth with James Charles, trying to be friends with him and then try to cancel him, and then he's trying to cancel him again in this interview, and it's a whole thing. I just feel like Jeffree Star needs to shut the fuck up, and this was an opinion that was supposed to be revolving around Tati and James, but Jeffree Star needs to shut the fuck up by making it about Jeffree. Pop music has not been good since 2014. We've been exposed less to pop music that we're interested in since a few years ago. Music from 2014 and that kind of stuff is a lot different to pop music now. It's kind of matured in a way. We will remember the difference in like One Direction. We've developed a more mature taste, I think, and pop music is really hard to mature in a way that is still pop and catchy and just fun to listen to. Next one is that marriage is not important and that people need to stop forcing the idea of marriage onto couples. Yes, I don't know what it's like in everywhere in the world, but I heard that like in America there's a lot of legal stuff to do with marriage. I read somewhere that spouses couldn't like testify against each other in court and something like that, and I just feel like there's quite a few legal stuff to do with marriage and that could affect their decision on it. And also I feel like it's so messy with like prenups and all that, because everyone, I don't know why prenups are such a like taboo subject. Like there's nothing wrong with signing a prenup, and then people will get angry if their partner asks them to sign a prenup. Why? Why are you angry? Were you planning to steal all their money? Like, why are you angry? Honestly. The next one is Billie Eilish's best song is Bitches Broken Hearts. I don't really listen to Billie Eilish. I do have a few of her songs in my playlists and stuff like that. I just want to say she's a bit overhated. I feel like she's slightly overrated as well, but that's just my personal opinion. But I feel like she's overhated because everyone kind of hates on her for no reason. A lot of people I've heard say that they don't like her because she's really young and then she's singing about having a heart broken and being through all these experiences, and it's so irritating because just because because you're young doesn't mean that you can't be through traumatic experiences. Just because you're young doesn't mean that you can't get your heart broken. It is so irritating when people hate on her for that reason. If you want to hate on her because you don't like her as a person, or if you don't like her music, like if you want to say I don't like her music because her music is sad and I don't like sad music, or I don't like the way that she executes sad music, all good. Don't say I don't like Billie Eilish because she's making sad music and teenagers can't be sad. That is so irritating. I hate that. Next one is that Geminis get too much hate. I mean, yeah, I feel like people are way too interested in astrology. I feel like astrology was supposed to be something fun. There's literally no scientific backup, but if you want to believe in it, be my guest. But again, it's kind of like religion. Don't use it to hate on people. Like, I feel like if you excuse all your shitty behavior because of your astrology sign, or if you immediately think something of somebody, or if you immediately think that somebody else is an asshole because they're a specific zodiac sign, you're pretty much the I'm not like other girls equivalent of Christian white mums who aren't homophobic but are. That is what you are. The next one is Rihanna doesn't need to release an album this year. Yeah, I feel like this, again, shouldn't be like an unpopular opinion. There's nothing wrong with wanting Rihanna to release an album this year. That's completely up to her. If she doesn't want to release an album, she doesn't have to release an album. If she wants to fully enter her singing career right here and now, that is her choice. She has done so much for the beauty and music industry, and she can do whatever the fuck she wants, is my conclusion. Next one is that Millie Bobby Brown needs a better stylist because she looks old. I'm not the biggest fan of Millie Bobby Brown. I feel like she could have benefited from maybe staying in school a little bit longer. I just find her personally a little bit irritating. I think she's good at acting. I just don't really like her as a person. Okay, this one's a little bit political, though I feel like it shouldn't be, and honestly, if you disagree with me, fuck off. Abortions should be fine because it should be up to that person's choice. I'm gonna get a little bit extra political with it. Anyone who is anti-abortion watching this, imagine if the roles were reversed. If you or somebody in your life got a child and you thought either they or you could never have an abortion because that's just not in your beliefs. What if that choice was forced upon you? What if you were forced to get an abortion? Because that is exactly the same thing that you were doing to other people. It is the equivalent. Just like you trying to prevent other people from staying financially stable and happy with their lives, it is the same as other people forcing you not to get a child and forcing you to get an abortion so that you don't have the choice of getting a child that you really want. I found out recently that some country just denied like a 10 or 11-year-old girl access to an abortion after she was raped, and then she died because obviously she's like 10 or 11 and she couldn't actually like give birth without dying. She's a child. She's a literal child. Okay, I'm gonna focus on teenagers and like younger children for now. They are most likely not financially stable enough to have a child. And even if they are, they probably don't have enough time, and they're probably not mature enough. They probably don't have the life experience to have a child. If that child does end up being forced to be born, what is honestly going to happen? You did not help anyone. What happens then is that they either grow up financially unstable in poor living conditions, or they are abused or neglected. And to the people who say, oh, just put it up for adoption, not only do they have to go through 9 to 10 months of carrying that child and birthing that child, they then have to put extra stress onto the foster care system. Unless you are willing to adopt every single child in the foster care system, unless you're willing to pay for every single person's therapy after they are forced to have this baby, unless you are willing to magically just take on the pregnancy and shoot it out of your own vagina or dick, shut the fuck up. If somebody else is not ready, that is not your choice to make. You are not a good person. I know you think you're like saving a life. No, you're not. You're destroying at least 2 lives. Because not only is the parent and the child negatively affected, but the people around those people are also affected. The parents of the person who got pregnant, the friends of that person, they're all going to be negatively affected. And it's all because you wanted to be able to say that you are a hero for doing something completely stupid and ridiculous. Next one, I don't know if I wrote this down wrong, but I'm guessing she said something about white men in America, and I tweeted about this, but I just want Canada to invade the US, because who authorized that? Who said that the US could just like do the things that it's I don't even, oh my god. When people complain about white men in America, I'm not saying it's only a problem in America, because it's a problem everywhere, but it's so incredibly normalized or even praised normalized in America. Like in New Zealand, if a guy were to sexually harass somebody, I feel like that would be taken so much more seriously than it would be taken in the United States. Catcalling and groping isn't nearly as normalized as it is in America, and they're just so fucked up in that sense. They're so fucked up in a lot of ways. Next one is that skinny shaming exists. Yes. I want to take this and kind of compare it to racism. Skinny shaming is like the Asian racism of body shaming. Because if you fat shame somebody, like stop eating, then people are going to treat it the same way that they treat people being racist towards black people. It's very obvious that they're being a bad person. But when people say, oh, put a little meat on your bones or eat more, it's kind of like, it's not as passive as Asian racism is in a lot of the time. I mean, not anymore because people are fully getting beat up for being Asian now. But it's kind of like the same concept. Like, people don't think it's as serious as it really is. Like, it's still going to end up with the same effects. Like, in the end, skinny people are going to be insecure about their bodies. In the end, skinny people are going to be wondering why the things that they're doing to try and gain weight aren't working. I keep on eating, why can't I gain weight? I'm doing these specific exercises, why don't I get more like muscles in these areas? It's the same as when fat people are like, I'm exercising and I'm eating healthy and I'm eating good portions and I'm controlling my calorie intake, why aren't I getting skinnier? Or why aren't I getting skinny in these places? I'm doing these exercises, why aren't I becoming skinny in the ways that I want to be skinny? It's the exact same. Next one is leave bad baby alone because she knows what she's doing. She's trying to rile people up. Yeah. I don't think I talked about Bad Baby, did I? If I haven't, then it was about like her trying to be black with like her makeup and all that, and then people talked about her hair, and then she did the whole hair tugging thing, and that was like a whole video. Anyway, irrelevant. Next one. Just because white people don't have black friends or colored friends doesn't mean that they're racist. Yeah. Some people, especially depending on the place that you grow up and the community that you're in, it's very hard to become friends with people of different colors. One of the main things to form friendships is relatability. If you can't relate to somebody, it's going to be really hard to be friends with them. If you're the same race as somebody, you're going to be facing the same struggles, and therefore you're going to be able to relate to them. Like, if I go up to somebody and complain about the struggles that I faced as an Asian, a white person's not going to understand that, but an Asian will, so we can connect about that. Just like how, and a lot of white people, especially in America, will grow up in communities that are a lot more privileged than others. And firstly, they have the white privilege that got them to get to that place in the first place. But then being in the neighborhood or schools that they are at gives them more privileges. You know, like white people have not only white privilege, but the privileges that they get because of white privilege. You feel? No? Oh well. We're nearly at the end. The next one is that people are too focused on being slim thick. I feel like that's always been a thing. People have always been way too focused on becoming a specific body type. That's always been a thing. Before it used to be being skinny, everyone wanted to be skinny, and now it's slim thick. Everyone wants to have a fat ass and like really big tits and skinny waist. I feel like the difference is being slim thick is a lot less realistic, I personally think, because especially with guys, when men think slim thick, they mean nobody looks like that. I'm gonna sidetrack a little bit more. Men are so like into like the whole natural thing right now. Again, for some reason, I thought we were past this, but on today's episode of misogyny, we have men who will only date girls if they're virgins. We have men who will only date girls if they don't wear makeup or if they're completely natural. Like, literally nobody cares. You're not important enough for anyone to change the amount of makeup they wear or the types of clothes that they wear. Nobody's gonna rewind time and not have sex just to date you, okay? If you want to date a virgin, if that's like sexually appealing to you, I mean, that's fine, but don't be annoying about it. And it's always the same. This is what it always comes to. It's the same men who are like, I want a virgin, who are like, this bitch sucks at sex. She can't ride me like a porn star. And it's like, maybe because she's never had sex before. Maybe that's because of what you wanted. And you're like, I want girls who are natural. So it's like, okay, you want people who are naturally pretty, so you're shallow. Good for you. Nobody gives a fuck. But yeah, when men think slim thick, they mean extremely unrealistic. I feel like when women think slim thick, even if they do put unrealistic body expectations on themselves, they'll understand that for other people, they won't really judge other people because they know that it's not realistic. They know that they can't have fat titties and a fat ass and just like no stomach whatsoever. Though they might still expect that from themselves, they'll know that other people won't be able to live up to that expectation. And even if they do expect that upon themselves, they know like there's a certain amount of disappointment that they've already anticipated because of it. Because nobody's gonna just work out and eat less and then suddenly become this, you know? I feel like the ideal body type is always like such a toxic and gross thing to have in mind. I'm gonna sidetrack a lot because like my brain's just going everywhere. You cannot tell how healthy somebody is. Like this kind of relates to the skinny thing, but you cannot tell how healthy somebody is based on their physical appearance. I know skinny people who weigh more than like my heavier looking friends could ever be. And that's not a problem. As long as you're healthy, there should be nothing wrong with it. And even if you aren't healthy, like somebody telling people that they need to gain or lose weight and just being an asshole is not going to help somebody who isn't healthy become healthy. Like, how does fat shaming or skinny shaming somebody, how is that going to positively benefit them? They're not changing to be healthy, they're changing to please other people. And not only does it most likely not work, like body shaming somebody has a very small likelihood of actually getting them to the place that you or they want them to be body wise. But even if it does, they're emotionally not going to be thriving. And like, that's I just feel like it's such a simple concept that people can't shut the fuck up about. Like, just mind your own damn business. So the last one, doing Viagra pranks is abuse. Why would you do that? I feel like pranks in general are just such a shitty part of social media. Like, if you're gonna try and get clout, please don't do pranks. Oh my god, actually benefit society in some way. Because a lot of pranks are either toxic or, again, straight up abusive. And again, this we're talking a lot about like men that annoy me, but there's like TikTok guys whose pranks are literally just telling their girlfriends that they look fat, or that they look ugly, or that they look like a slut because they're eating or because of what they wear. You're an abusive piece of shit, and I honestly hope she breaks up. Like, I hope she cheats on you. I hope she cheats on you. Like, if you're mad because your girlfriend is wearing something revealing, that is your insecurity to deal with, not something to push onto her. Okay, lastly, English is not an easy language. I feel like if English is your first language, then you shouldn't be struggling as much as you should be, because why does the majority of the Instagram population not know the difference between your and there and there? Everyone makes a mistake in their typing. Everyone has a typo every now and then again. But like, there are just so many people who genuinely don't know the difference, and that is so irritating. So yeah, I've been filming for a lot longer than I should have been. My legs kind of hurt. So yeah, stay safe and stay hydrated. Drink water. Coffee is not water. Drink water.